I rise pursuant to your invitation, Mr. Speaker, to move that a bill to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to incorporate the Investments and Securities Tribunal, renamed Investments and Securities Court, as a superior record of record and for other related matters be read the second time. I move, Mr. Speaker.
Second.
To second that the bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to incorporate the Investment and Securities Tribunal, rename Investment and Securities Court as a superior court of record and for other related matters be read the second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
A short and a very important bill for amendment of CAMA, which is an amendment that will help empower good business in Nigeria and ease investments in Nigeria. This bill, Mr. Speaker, is rather technical, but I'll try to elaborate my arguments so that we can, as a House, pass this bill for the betterment of doing business and investment in Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, the Investments and Securities Tribunal was established in 1979, and it was re-established in 2007 by the provisions of Investments and Securities Act 2007. I want to refresh our memories, Mr. Speaker, that this tribunal was conceived as an adjudication body that can afford investors and capital market operators to have an avenue for speedy resolution of disputes in the Nigerian capital market. Mr. Speaker, the body was necessary for Nigeria to have so as to be able to compete with other nations in becoming a destination of choice for investment. Mr. Speaker, we may also recall that the Nigerian capital market is an emerging financial market and has seen very good days. We may recall between 2007 and 2009, this market was described as one of the highest yielding markets in the world, reaching a market capitalization of 13 trillion naira. Mr. Speaker, following the global meltdown in 2009, the market reached a very low point, and it came down to only 5 trillion naira. Today, Mr. Speaker, it has grown marginally. It is hovering around 8 trillion naira. Mr. Speaker, since establishment of the IST, in its 13 years now of existence, the tribunal has resolved cases of not less than 370 billion naira. And it has, through a long line of decided cases, established a unique jurisprudence for the Nigerian capital market and had held accountable the actors entrusted with public funds. Mr. Speaker, capital market is the engine of growth for any economy that we want to grow. And if we sanitize it, investments, both local and foreign, will flow. But Mr. Speaker, I have a concern here. And my concern is threefold. Number one, Section 294 of the Investment and Securities Act, which created the Investment and Securities Tribunal, has vested exclusive jurisdiction on the Investment and Securities Tribunal to resolve disputes between investors, capital market operators, self-regulatory organizations, and the apex regulator of the industry. That is Section 254 of the ISA. But Section 251 of the 1999 Constitution, Mr. Speaker, has also vested the Federal High Court with jurisdiction over corporate matters emanating from the Companies and Allied Matters Act. Again, Mr. Speaker, number 3, sections 257 and 272 of the Constitution have vested the State High Court and the FCT High Court with relatively unlimited jurisdiction. The lawyers amongst us know what I'm talking about. So, Mr. Speaker, no doubt, it appears from these 3 sections that I've read out, there appears to be some overlaps on the subject before these 3 courts, and have encouraged what is called foreign shopping in law, forum shopping in law. Therefore, if there is a problem between an investor and a capital market operator, you have a choice to either go to the Federal High Court, or to go to the State High Court, or to go to the Investment and Securities Tribunal. This is untidy. And, Mr. Speaker, because of this untidiness, I would want us to, number 1, Mr. Speaker, rename the Investment and Securities Tribunal as the Investments and Securities Court, and thus make it a regular court as opposed to being a tribunal. And number 2, give it exclusive jurisdiction on capital market matters and make it a superior court of record. Now, Mr. Speaker, because the legislature has not done that since 1979, when the ISA was passed and re-established again in 2007, academicians, researchers, the judiciary, and even the executive arm of government are drawn into this controversy. All these 3 organizations, they are taking various positions on the status of the Investment and Securities Tribunal, especially the exclusivity of its jurisdiction. Let me give you an example, Mr. Speaker. On the side of the judiciary, currently there are 2 conflicting decisions of the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal in the Lagos Division, in a case between Securities and Exchange Commission SEC versus Professor Kasumu, the Court of Appeal in Lagos held that the Investment and Securities Tribunal does not have exclusive jurisdiction on capital market matters. On the other hand, another division of the Court of Appeal here in Abuja, in the case of Ajayi versus SEC, which was reported in 2009, the Court of Appeal Abuja Division held that the IST has exclusive jurisdiction on capital market matters. So, Mr. Speaker, we need to do something about this. Now, what are we supposed to do? I was one of those who researched this topic, Mr. Speaker. I didn't know then that I was going to have an opportunity to come here and address this issue. That is my thesis that I submitted to ABU when I completed my master's, which I hold here. Mr. Speaker, it is titled An Analysis of the Legal Status of the Investments and Securities Tribunal vis-a-vis the Judicature Provisions of the 1999 Constitution. And it is on the internet. Anybody who is interested can check kubani.abu.edu.ng. Mr. Speaker, it is in the middle of this controversy between the IST, the Federal High Court, the State High Court, and the FCT High Court that even the executive arm of government, which I alluded to earlier, that is drawn into the fray, when by a circular SGF.19/S/81/XX/968 from the office of the SGF, the members of the Investment and Securities Tribunal were removed from office. This is contrary to Section 277 of the ISA on the appointment and removal of chairman and members of that tribunal. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, by virtue of Section 277 of the ISA, the chairman of the tribunal and members of this tribunal shall hold office for 4 years, both terms renewable for a similar term only. But in the current situation, with that circular from the SGF, members of the tribunal who have not even served their first term were sacked. In fact, the grounds detailed in the ISA for removal of the chairman and members of the tribunal from office were 1, unsoundness of mind, bankruptcy, conviction for a felony, guilt of serious misconduct, and withdrawal of qualifying certificates. These situations did not arise, but by that circular from the SG's office, they have been sacked. Today, Mr. Speaker, as I stand here, I believe that government was labored under the mistaken belief that the membership of the tribunal was akin to membership of the federal government boards and parastatals. So, based on this action of the federal government, Mr. Speaker, honourable colleagues, only the acting chairman of the IST is now in the office. He is the only person now in his seat. And meanwhile, cases are piling, unattended to, because there is no quorum. Mr. Speaker, the point being made here is that no serious investor will feel safe to put his fortune in such a market. Mr. Speaker, as my former governor, Balangirari, once told me that investment money does not go to troubled countries, either because of violence or lack of clear system of adjudication. He said, as he said, and I may even add that it can't go to Iraq, investment money will not go to Syria, it will not go to northeast of Nigeria, and it may not go to the Niger Delta because of Boko Haram and the Niger Delta Avengers. Mr. Speaker, I'm afraid if we don't act now, it may not come to Nigeria for either or for both reasons. Mr. Speaker, I would like to conclude by saying that the 7th Assembly, of which you are part, which I was not, have done this in the past. If you remember, the National Industrial Court was not a court of record in Nigeria. There was a time the government and employees were doing the same kind of foreign shopping. The government, I remember during when Oshomole was the president of NLC, the federal government during Babangida went to the FCT High Court to obtain an injunction to stop the NLC from embarking on industrial action. But the NLC refused to abide by that injunction because the FCT High Court is a court of limited jurisdiction within the FCT only, whereas employers are scattered all over Nigeria. There is no way an injunction from Abuja High Court will stop a person from Adamawa or from Bayelsa from going on strike. So if we allow this to continue, investors in Nigerian stock market will not be able to ventilate their own cases because you can go to the Federal High Court and your opponent will now jump to the Investment and Securities Tribunal, and somebody else will now jump to the State High Court or the FCT High Court. Therefore, what the National Assembly has done in the 7th Assembly was to amend the Constitution, if you remember, the 3rd alteration, which came into effect on the 1st day of March 2001, which brought the National Industrial Court into Constitution. And by so doing, today, Section 254C of the Constitution says, and I quote with your kind permission, Mr. Speaker, that notwithstanding the provisions of Section 1, 257, 272, and anything contained in this Constitution, and in addition to such other jurisdictions as may be conferred upon it by an Act of National Assembly, the National Industrial Court shall have and exercise jurisdiction to the exclusion of any other court in civil matters. Therefore, finally, Mr. Speaker, I would like to urge this House to, 1, alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in 1999 to insert the provision that will make the IST a court and name it Investment and Securities Court. Then vest the ISC with exclusive jurisdiction on capital market matters, and alter Section 6 of the Constitution by making the ISC a superior court of record like the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, the Federal High Court, High Court of the State, and that of the FCT. Mr. Speaker, I have already attempted a draft for the alteration, which is attached to my brief of argument. If you will, Mr. Speaker, I would want us to alter Section 6 of the Constitution, especially in subsection 4A, by inserting the following: nothing in the foregoing provisions shall be construed to preclude the National Assembly or any House of Assembly from establishing courts and or tribunals of special jurisdiction other than those to which this section relates with coordinate or subordinate jurisdiction. If we do this, Mr. Speaker, there will be no need to alter the Constitution if a need arises for us to create a specialized court. For instance, our newspapers are awash. People are clamoring that we should create election tribunal, election offences tribunal. So if you want to create an election petition tribunal to be a court of record, you have to alter the Constitution. People are even saying that we should create anti-corruption court. To do that, you have to alter the Constitution. Or look at the tax appeals tribunal, which is a subordinate court. If we want to put it in the Constitution, we have to alter the Constitution. Therefore, in order to avoid alteration of Constitution time and again, we need to amend Section 6 of the Constitution to allow the National Assembly to create courts of coordinate or subordinate jurisdiction without having to amend the Constitution. I thank you most sincerely, Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.